is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry.
They claimed the murmurs had actually started weeks before Meghan Markle's birthday. But the buzz hit a boiling point the moment she shared her polished celebration photos. Images meant to showcase youthful radiance, effortless style, and that ever-present Hollywood shine. According to online commentators, though, the reaction completely backfired. Instead of praising her, people began comparing the photos, zooming in, examining details, debating, and before long the discussion moved from compliments to questions and ultimately to outright speculation.
I say shared some pictures. We don't get to see their faces. We get to see the back of their heads, and I think this promotes a little bit more of a.
People were insisting something didn't add up about Meghan's age. And across social media platforms, users were pointing out that she didn't appear to be the age she publicly claimed, with some saying the numbers didn't line up with her early acting records, while others circulated old interviews and resurfaced documents suggesting inconsistencies in school records and timelines. And although most of this was little more than rumor-driven chatter, it only took one name to push the story into something far bigger: Tom Bower. As journalists reported that Bower, the seasoned investigative writer known for his relentless deep dives into royal controversies, had been quietly gathering information for months, with sources saying he had been telling contacts that Meghan's official age might not be the full truth and that he had evidence to prove it. And according to insiders, Bower told colleagues he had found a birth certificate that contradicted the age Meghan publicly celebrated, describing it as a discovery that changes the timeline and raises serious questions about authenticity and image management.
With a huge mansion in LA, security, their own private bushland from the looks of it, where while the rest of us were locked up in our...
People familiar with his work claimed he had no intention of sitting on this information and said he was preparing to publish, calling the discovery too important to ignore. And suddenly everywhere Meghan turned, the news cycle kept repeating the same line that Tom Bower claimed he had proof Meghan Markle had been lying about her age, as experts weighed in and social media dissected images from Meghan's recent birthday event, with some viewers insisting she appeared far older than her official number would suggest and arguing the photos told a different story, while others said the stress of recent years could explain changes in her appearance, though even they admitted the renewed scrutiny was coming at the worst possible time for her. And reporters who followed Bower's past investigations stressed that he was not someone given to exaggeration, explaining that when he spoke the royal press paid attention, noting on air that Bower had a reputation for uncovering uncomfortable truths, backed by documents, witnesses, and detailed timelines, and that when he made a claim this bold he was rarely bluffing, with one commentator saying on a breakfast show that Bower studies royals the way forensic accountants examine financial fraud, line by line, date by date, and without mercy, while others described him as obsessive, precise, and unrelenting, especially when he believed a public figure was carefully managing their image.
But they could never win. We know now in hindsight that Meghan never really intended to stay. Her guest list to her wedding showed her real ambition.
Those close to the royal beat said Bower had long suspected Meghan of concealing parts of her past, but that this alleged age discrepancy was his most explosive claim yet, explaining that he had privately suggested certain records did not align with Meghan's stated birth year and that school files, early job listings, and background checks pointed to an older date, with people who spoke to him saying he described one specific document, a birth certificate, as containing unexpected details and made it clear that the certificate he reviewed did not match the version implied by Meghan's public narrative. And although none of this had been independently verified and Meghan's team refused to comment, their silence only intensified speculation, as a source close to Bower told reporters he was not just confident in his findings but preparing to present them, believing the public had been sold a version of Meghan that was inaccurate and that if an age discrepancy existed it raised larger questions about what else might have been hidden. While online users compared Meghan's appearance in early Suits interviews where she looked noticeably younger with her recent public outings, arguing the aging timeline seemed inconsistent with her stated age, as others unearthed casting calls and acting directories from the early 2000s claiming her listed age then contradicted the age she claims now, with some fans defending her by saying Hollywood agents often adjusted ages for casting purposes, but Bower supporters countering that this was not about industry manipulation but about honesty, public personas, and a duchess who repeatedly emphasized transparency while allegedly concealing something significant, as royal analysts warned that if Bower's report proved true it would trigger a major credibility crisis rooted not in vanity but in trust, since misrepresenting something as fundamental as age would cast doubt on every timeline she had ever presented from her personal history to her royal disputes. And behind the scenes journalists claimed Meghan appeared shaken, with one correspondent saying members of her circle were calling in favors with friendly outlets to redirect headlines and shift the narrative, though the story continued to gain momentum, with insiders linked to the Sussex camp whispering that Meghan felt ambushed and never expected her age to become an investigative subject, viewing the scrutiny as cruel, sexist, and driven by personal vendetta. While journalists covering Bauer stressed his motives were never emotional and that he was driven by facts, records, and a long-standing commitment to dissecting powerful public figures including the royal family, with those close to him saying he always believed Meghan's story was overly polished, that dates never fully lined up, and that her public image was carefully constructed, and now he allegedly had the paperwork to support that belief, as the press framed the situation as the start of a storm capable of reshaping public understanding of who Meghan Markle really was. And as whispers turned into conversation and conversation into headlines, it became clear this would not disappear until Bauer revealed exactly what he claimed to have found, with the shockwaves continuing well beyond his first reveal, which was seen not as an endpoint but a crack in the dam that unleashed an avalanche of speculation and commentary built up for years, all circling one question that refused to fade. How old is Meghan really? An idea that seemed absurd at first given her status as a modern public figure, former actress, and duchess whose age should have been clear and documented. Yet the ordeal exposed a world where nothing is as neat as it appears. And as Bauer held up a worn file during his interview, the audience leaned in not because they instantly believed it, but because they wanted to know why a man so precise and notoriously meticulous would even raise the issue, since he was no gossip columnist but a bulldog biographer known for exposing secrets behind palace walls, and whether admired or despised, he was known for one thing: he did not speak without substance. So when he opened that file, the studio fell silent, and as he slowly tapped the top page and said it was one of several documents that conflicted with each other, he avoided direct accusation and conspiracy, letting the words hang heavy and dangerous. And within minutes, social media erupted with debunkers, dismissing it as exaggerated paperwork errors, while theorists argued it was proof of something far deeper. They had always suspected something felt off, pointing out that she avoided publicly celebrating certain birthdays, appeared uneasy whenever her age was mentioned, and had old classmate stories that didn't line up, as clips began resurfacing of past interviews where Meghan hesitated before answering questions about her 20s, along with promotional materials where her age shifted from one listing to another, and acting bias that seemed inconsistent, with nothing definitive or concrete. Yet in a world driven by perception, that was enough, as morning show commentators suddenly turned into age experts. YouTubers uploaded hour-long breakdowns titled "The Truth They Don't Want You to See." Talk radio hosts argued over whether Meghan had shaved off 2 years, 5 years, or none at all, and it quickly became the most viral controversy of the year, until Tom did what Tom always does and doubled down, releasing a calm, controlled, and deliberately vague follow-up statement a week after the interview, saying he was simply presenting what he had found and that interpretation was up to the public, not accusing but not backing away either. Before delivering a second reveal on a Sunday talk show where he pulled a cleaner, newer-looking certificate from his briefcase and said he found it filed in a neighboring district with the same name and parents but a different year, prompting gasps in the studio and millions of views online as commentators shouted questions about clerical errors, reissued documents, or something more, while Tom offered no answers and simply said people could draw their own conclusions before walking off the stage, sparking intense debate among royal analysts, with some calling it administrative chaos typical of 1970s Los Angeles, others saying it fit a pattern of narrative control, and still others arguing age flexibility had always existed in Hollywood, until a more serious angle emerged when a royal history academic warned that the royal family's obsession with lineage, documentation, and chronology meant even innocent discrepancies would have raised private concerns, shifting the storyline from gossip to significance and fueling speculation about whether the palace had quietly investigated Meghan's background or whether Tom had uncovered documents already seen behind closed doors. None of it confirmed, but all of it amplified by whispers that fed the scandal, as Meghan remained completely silent with no statements, interviews, or posts, a silence some praised as dignity, others read as strategy, and some claimed masked devastation, until an anonymous insider told a talk show she felt hunted and violated by someone digging into her childhood, increasing public sympathy but also curiosity. Because silence creates shadows and shadows invite stories, leading to Tom Bauer's primetime appearance where he laid out photos, timelines, and archival notes that proved nothing outright but carried power through implication as he spoke of discrepancies and gaps and said Meghan had been invited many times to respond, before delivering the line that defined the scandal by saying he believed she had a story she didn't want told and that he intended to tell it, igniting the world not with proof or facts but with mystery, framed around a powerful woman under fire, a relentless biographer, 2 documents, 1 identity, and endless questions. culminating in a columnist's conclusion that it ultimately didn't matter how old Meghan was, but that global obsession with the idea she might not be what she seems said more than any certificate ever could. While for Tom the mission continued, for Meghan the silence deepened the myth, and for the world the question echoed through tabloids, talk shows, and trending feeds: who is Meghan Markle really?